Proud to serve northeastern and central Pennsylvania. This is WNEP 16, the news station. Now, Nolan Johannes, Karen Harch, pilot Jack Woolen in Skycam 16, chief meteorologist Tom Clark, and Joe Zone on sports. This is Newswatch 16.
Good evening. The Giardia assist has struck again.
This time it means 40,000 people in the Hazelton area are advised to boil their drinking water. Officials announced the boil advisory late this afternoon as a way to fight the disease-causing cyst.
Newswatch 16's Valerie Devine is live in Hazelton. Valerie, what's the latest?
Well, Nolan, DER officials tell us they want to be safe rather than sorry. One person in the Hazelton area has been diagnosed as having giardiasis. DER tested the Hazelton water supply over the weekend, in particular the Barnes Run Reservoir. And they received word this morning that there are giardia cysts in the water. As you said, there are about 40,000 people under a boil advisory tonight because of the giardiasis outbreak. We're going to give you a rundown of the areas affected. All of Hazelton City is under the boil advisory, the borough of West Hazelton, and most of Hazel Township. If you live in those areas, you are advised to boil your water tonight for 1 minute. Now, DER officials have already informed all of the municipal officials in this area of the giardiasis problem. They spent the afternoon trying to figure out how to cope. For DER officials, dealing with giardiasis is nothing new. Since the outbreak back in 1983, they've set up guidelines for people in case of an outbreak. At a meeting at City Hall this afternoon, officials told municipal officers to have their residents either buy bottled water or boil their water for 1 minute. They announced efforts are underway to bring bottled water to the greater Hazelton area.
The water buffaloes will be placed in the most critical areas in the beginning, and we will see many water buffaloes coming into the Hazelton area, and the time is going on, beginning tomorrow.
Since the giardiasis outbreak back in 1983, DER officials say they have learned a lot of valuable lessons. And even though they knew about this recent outbreak this morning, they waited to tell municipal officials until this afternoon.
The delay between this morning and even the briefing this afternoon from the officials was due to the fact that we had to come up with the areas that were affected. We had one confirmed case of giardia, and we had 2 samples that were positive for giardia, but before we could make any real announcement, we had to be pretty sure of the areas that are affected.
Now, once again, if you live in the city of Hazelton, the borough of West Hazelton, or Hazel Township, you are advised to boil your water for 1 minute or buy bottled water. Now, not all of Hazel Township is affected, but you're advised, just as a precautionary measure, to boil your water. One other note, all schools in the Hazelton area school district will be closed tomorrow because of the giardiasis problem. Now, we will be following this story all night long, and we will have a complete report tonight on the update. Valerie Devine, Newswatch 16, live at the Instacam in Hazelton.
Thank you, Valerie. In Schuylkill County, environmental officials still aren't sure what it was that forced 25 families to evacuate their homes and Rappahannock last night near the Keystone chemical plant. Was it because of a harmful chemical fumes or just a foul odor? Newswatch 16's Bob Constantini reports some action was taken today.
I ordered them to cease processing and treatment of waste material.
DER still doesn't know what fumes leaked out of the plant last night. Even so, the order also requires Keystone Chemical to prevent another similar problem at this facility near Gerardville.
The plant manager, John Julius, would not comment on camera, but he did tell us there was an odor problem here last night. He called it obnoxious, but not toxic.
My reaction is, how does he know? There was no equipment to determine exactly what was discharged.
Bob Crick, leader of People Against Keystone Chemical, and Gerardville Borough Councilman Joe Wayne say the fumes were toxic enough to send 11 people to the hospital for treatment.
We were told all along, we were spoon-fed that this is perfectly safe, it's state-of-the-art equipment, that we're not going to have any problems.
Fumes from the plant forced the evacuation of 25 homes. It was the second time in a year people had to be treated for inhaling fumes coming out of the Keystone plant, which treats and stores hazardous waste. Marcella Subovich was forced to leave her home in Gerardville near the plant. She was allowed back this morning, but couldn't get the worry out of her mind.
I did. I couldn't fall asleep. You know, things were I start worrying, and I was all shook up and all that.
Local people continue to watch the plant entrance, but don't expect to see a truck for some time. It could be weeks before DER's shutdown order is lifted. Bob Salsantini, Newswatch 16, Butler Township, Schuylkill County.
When Newswatch 16 continues, we'll tell you about the owners of an area newspaper who are fighting to keep a 170-year-old tradition alive.
Plus, later on, Mike Stevens will take us and tell us about people paying a high price for traditional folk art. That story from the Pennsylvania Road.
Thousands and thousands of people are rushing to their Lincoln Mercury dealers for their spectacular President's Week telethon. Get fantastic deals and sensational values on everything from links to Lincoln.
A newspaper in our area is itself in the news tonight. In fact, the next issue of the Seeland Grove Times Tribune just may have its own fire on the front page. Last night on the update, we told you about the Snyder County fire, but as Newswatch 16's Dan Fiorucci says, the 3-alarm blaze has not knocked the paper out of business.
In 172 years, the Seeland Grove Times Tribune has met its weekly deadline countless times. But now, with just 2 days to go before publication, the paper is facing a serious challenge. A fire swept through its newsroom, causing considerable damage. But that fire hasn't melted editor Barbara Mitchell's typewriter, because she and her son moved their 3-person newsroom into the family kitchen.
Come Thursday morning, are you going to have a paper?
We're sure that they have it somehow.
Do you think you're going to get this week's issue?
I have no doubt. No doubt at all.
Never doubted it.
No doubt at all.
Her readers have faith the paper will arrive.
We're going through the flood together in 72 and 75, and didn't miss an issue.
Barbara Mitchell has seen floods. She's even seen business interrupted by personal matters.
We had a deadline where I printed the paper and had a baby the same night.
But whatever life has thrown at her, Barbara Mitchell has never missed a deadline. And in the best traditions of journalism, doesn't intend to now. After all, she's the editor.
Editing, publishing, janitor, everything at all.
Dan Fiorucci, Newswatch 16, Seeland's Grove.
Greyhound Bus Company has announced it will close its Scranton bus terminal. The closing this summer will be one of 35 bus stations Greyhound intends to close across the nation. Binghamton, New York, and Erie, Pennsylvania terminals are also affected. Greyhound officials say the Scranton station on Lackawanna Avenue will be closed by July 1st. The building and land sold, and there will possibly be some layoffs. 8 people are now employed at the Scranton terminal. Greyhound says bus customers will be able to get service somewhere nearby Scranton, just not as convenient as the downtown location. The closings are described as a cost-cutting procedure by the national bus firms.
An opossum that apparently wandered where he shouldn't have caused a power outage this afternoon in part of Luzerne County. 3,400 PP&L customers in the north end of Wilkes-Barre and Plains Township were without power for about 20 minutes this afternoon. PP&L officials say they found a very large dead opossum at their substation on North River Street. It tripped a breaker, knocking out power, and was electrocuted when it touched some high-voltage wires.
Poor opossum.
Yeah. Now, Chief Meteorologist Tom Clark is next with his weather watch.
Yeah, and somebody's saying you'll have to take a foghorn with you tonight, Tom.
In some parts, it's bad. Very dense fog. A little warmer weather will be nice.
Yeah.
Not some more of the snow. Karen is just smiling from ear to ear. When we come back, I'll show you where it was hot today, and if it's going to get any warmer here. You're watching Newswatch 16 on WNEP-TV, and we're proud to serve Carbondale and all of Lackawanna County.
Albert Finch, you're eating better than ever. Who, me? Sure, you're eating Strowman's new fiber goodness bread. I thought this was white bread. Yes, but it's got as much fiber as 100% whole wheat. And Jenkins, you're eating better than ever.
I know. Fiber goodness is delicious.
And it's made with pure vegetable fiber, so now white bread can be an important part of your balanced diet.
It is.
New fiber goodness. I make sure the goodness is baked in.
Our Chief Meteorologist Tom Clark is out in the backyard. Can you see out there, Tom?
I can see.
Okay.
Fog isn't too bad here, but in some parts of the area tonight, it will be very, very dense. So if you're out driving, take it easy. 1/3 of an inch of rain fell here today, and we're minus about 2 inches of snow from last night. Let's begin now with the temperatures from across the area. Weather watcher Mike Fabric in Tobyhanna reports 32 degrees. Mike McGillis in Jerseytown, Columbia County, 37. And Carl Streffler reports 36 out there in Belfont. Here, in our backyard, the sky is cloudy. The rain has ended. 38 degrees. 96% humidity. The wind north at 5, and the barometer is falling from 29.74. The range in temp here today, 40 and 34. Finally above normal for the high. 16 below zero, the record for this date. A nice day a year ago, the high 41 degrees. A view today from Seeland State Park in Northumberland County. Now, this is what the cloud structure was like over Pennsylvania, and that is the leading edge of warmer air draped over the mountains. You can see that kind of has a trouble getting into the eastern part of the state because of a wedge of colder air that kind of dams up and prevents the warm air from coming in, but it came close today. Look at the temperatures in the 30s over the eastern two-thirds of the state, in the 50s in Pittsburgh, near 50 in Erie, 60 in Columbus, Ohio today. Some of that warm air probably will not make it in here because a cold front is moving in from the west. And here it is here, some clouds, and looking at some breaks out ahead of it. Maybe a little sun tomorrow morning, but the clouds will thicken up again. Area of rain could clip us by late in the day. 90 in San Antonio, Texas today. Very hot down that way. And there's a place called Bald Mountain, Idaho that's had 50 inches of snow since the middle of last week. Now, for us, well, no snow tonight. Kind of misty, some fog around, very dense in some areas. Temperatures holding about in the mid-30s tonight, nothing more than some drizzle. The wind will be out of the, well, very light northeast, only no more than 7. Sunrise tomorrow morning, 6:53, and the sunset at 5:42. For tonight, just some fog, cloudy, drizzle. A mostly cloudy day tomorrow. There could be some more rain by late in the day. Mid-40s, a little bit warmer than today. Low 40s on Thursday, some sunshine, and then more rain should come in late Thursday into Friday. May change to snow before clearing sets in on Saturday. I'll see you at 11.
Okay. See you later.
Thank you.
The Sports Watch is next with Joe Zone, a new wrestling pull and a frustrated fan.
Plus, the story of a local college basketball player trying to combine sports, education, and fatherhood.
Try crisp golden fish fillets at Arthurtreaters. Batter dipped and cooked to crunchy perfection with our own secret recipe. That means a light taste with less cholesterol. At Arthurtreaters, you can pile on the chips or at no extra charge have a piping hot baked potato with butter. That's the choice. Arthurtreaters' original freshly batter dipped fish, crunchy, light, and delicious. Or Arthurtreaters' tender, flaky, oven-broiled fish fillets. Now there's a choice. A delicious and nutritious choice at Arthurtreaters.
Remember when Keystone Chevy dealers had 7-7 financing? Remember we said it was for a limited time? So Charlie came in for a great buy on his new Chevy, but you waited. Well, cheer up. Keystone Chevy dealers have 7-9 financing on all Cavaliers, Novas, 2.5-liter Celebrities, and pickups. You can save up to $1,600 in finance charges. But 7-9 ends this Saturday, so don't wait. Remember what happened last time?
Spring training's coming up. It's time to get serious about signing players, isn't it?
Teams are getting the players in the fold. They've been playing this game in New York, a big money game. There was the Mets Dwight Gooden, the Yankees Don Mattingly. Both, as you know, were scheduled for salary arbitration. Well, both have settled without going to arbitration. Mattingly, in my mind, the best player in the league, signed today for $1,375,000 per year. That's $50,000 more than Gooden had signed for last week. Less than Mattingly would have asked for in arbitration, but more than the Yankees had originally offered. You know what a role player is, right? It's a guy they use, a gal they use in special situations. Doesn't play much, sometimes used more even in practice. At Bloomsburg, they've got a guy like that. Steve Ross is 25, married, has 2 kids, and he's definitely a role player.
Stephen Ross is a 25-year-old sophomore at Bloomsburg University. He's married and the father of 2 children and a business major. As a member of the varsity team, he rarely plays. His primary contribution to the team is practice.
We only play 27 games a year, but we've been practicing since October 15th, and from that day on to today, he is one of those people that we cannot practice without. And I'm a team player. If I can go out here and hustle hard every night and help these guys get ready for games, you know, I feel I've done my part for the team. So that's one of the things that drives me right there.
During practice, Ross is relentless, whether it's driving down court in an offensive pattern or underneath the basket competing for the ball in what's called a jungle drill. He challenges everybody.
For me right now, you know, I just keep working hard and working at my game And hopefully, you know, in the future, down the road, I'll get some good playing time, and I'll be able to contribute my efforts to the team in game situations.
Monday night, with his family looking on in the stands, Ross waited for the call that came very late, a few minutes of playing time. It's something he's learned to accept. So, today, it'll be practice as usual. Ross's game, challenging, crashing the boards, sweating, and contributing. And that's what makes Stephen Ross run. I'm Jay Christopher, Sports Watch 16.
Wrestling season winding down. Lots of league meets this weekend. Week 9 of the Super 16 wrestling poll, we got some changes. Number 16, Danville, down 2. Number 15, Rock Haven. At 14th is West Scranton. Number 13, Nazareth. At the 12th spot, Mifflinburg. And 11 is Tri-Valley. Number 10, Northwestern. At 9 is Shamokin. Number 8, Shikellamy. Number 7, Pine Grove. Number 6 is Bald Eagle area. Number 5, Northampton for the 5th week in a row. Top 4 the same. North Schuylkill at 4. Wyoming area at 3. Bethlehem, Liberty at 2. And Williamsport for the 8th week in a row remains as the number 1 team in the area. From the frustrated fan department this week, a Northwest area basketball fan. Joe Zone, he writes, early into the high school basketball season, you were quoted as saying that Northwest area will not win 5 Wyoming Valley Conference games if they win that many. Just to keep you up to date, Joe, Northwest has won 8 Wyoming Valley Conference games. Signed Jim H. P.S. Your contract is up in May. Get out of the area. High school sports just isn't your bag. Well, this is another case where somebody has put words into somebody's head, obviously. I have never said that about Northwest area. In fact, I can't remember a thing I've said about Northwest this season. As far as the advice about getting out of the area, I thought about that, but these guys wouldn't let me go, would they?
We will not.
That's all of it. Give tonight your best shot, and I'll see you at 11 o'clock. We got some big basketball games tonight.
We don't want to let you go, that's for sure.
That's right. Thanks, Joe.
Thanks, Joe.
Mike Stevens will be taking us down the Pennsylvania Road next.
Tonight we'll go to Cogan Station, where the highest bidders are taking some important historical records.
Enterprise Aluminum Products. We understand the needs of contractors, do-it-yourselfers, and homeowners everywhere. We're your primary resource for major home improvement needs. For instance, consider seamless guttering, soffit and fascia material, windows, doors, and casing, shutters, and of course siding. Enterprise Aluminum in Wilkes-Barre, enhancing the quality of your life, increasing the value of your home. Call 825-2725.
Wendy's new fish fillet sandwich is made from pure filet of fish, so it's moist and flaky, like a fine filet should be. Then lightly breaded with a seasoned cracker meal, so it's crispy and delicious. I used to eat the fish sandwich served at that other famous place. You know, the square fish. But I just keep wondering, how do square fish swim?
Now get a Wendy's fish sandwich, fries, coleslaw, and a medium drink, all for $1.99.
Finally tonight, you know how it is with common things. They're generally treated with very little regard. Well, it seems the folks of over a century ago treated their common things the same way. But our Mike Stevens tells us from the Pennsylvania Road in Lycoming County that some of them survived anyway.
Most of what you see here in this Cogan Station auction hall is the collection of one woman, Emma Thompson. It's about to be broken up, sold to the highest bidder.
She went to farm sales for years and years from the time she was a very young girl and began to collect all these things at all the sales.
Emma's collection comes mainly from Center, Snyder, and Union counties, so it is rich in the heritage of the region, rich in Americana and folk art.
Anything related to the Pennsylvania birth certificate, that was one of her great loves. You see that 6 there. She was interested in the historical part of it as well as the color.
So, in Emma's collection are a lot of proctors, records of birth, marriage, baptism, all done before printing presses made them and the people who drew them obsolete.
These were necessities to make a record. They weren't considered a piece of art when they were made. They were just made for records.
A lot of these proctors, these records of life, were lost because they were ordinary. But in those that Emma Thompson allowed to survive, there's a sampling of an era of common artists working for common folk.
A lot of the people that made them were not trained artists at all. They just made their figures the best they could.
So today our records of birth and baptism may be neater, but in 100 years they'll probably not be as important as these.
5,500. That's 5,000 and 5,500 on 50, 55. I'll take 52.50. That's 52.5 and 55. 7,500.
The family of Philip Gramlin of Center County probably thought his Proctor a pretty ordinary thing when it was made in 1798. It may have been to them, but at the auction today, folks thought it a mighty important piece of paper.
$750 one. That's $7,750 twice. That's $7,750 third and final coin with $8,000 order, and you are there at $7,750, number 173 the buyer.
Several of these little documents detailing a happy day in the life of someone now long gone were sold here today, and we can thank Emma Thompson for that. You'll have to look harder to find them now, but at least they'll still be around somewhere. Emma Thompson had some regard, you see, for the common things of life. I'm Mike Stevens, Newswatch 16 on the Pennsylvania Road in Cogan Station.
And that is Newswatch 16 for a Tuesday.
Be sure to join us tonight on the update when we'll have more on that water boil advisory in the Hazelton area.
For the entire team, thank you for being with us.
Enjoy your evening.